Hi, I'm Joe Carraro. I remember right after 9/11 I received a call requesting that I attend a meeting in Hawaii to hear a presentation by Tom Ridge on the establishment of a federal Department of Homeland Security. They had requested that 2 state senators from each state and from each political party attend to help formulate the responsibilities of such a department. Thinking back, it was a period of uncertainty where, for the first time in my lifetime, I had to think about how we must protect our country from attack or harm on our own soil. It was a time that would change our lives forever. Even the plane to Hawaii was less than a third full, and that's even with a diminished number of flights, since airlines all across America were just trying to get back up to schedule. You could tell there weren't many tourists visiting Honolulu from the mainland. It was a time that even being in paradise couldn't remove the thoughts of vulnerability and the effects this attack on our country was having on individuals' everyday life. It was obvious from the beginning of our meetings that a plan had already been formulated, and that our participation was going to be more informational than advisory. In the beginning, it was, of course, essential that the federal government establish better security for our transportation system, especially access to our airlines. It was also mentioned that plans for securing our energy grid and protecting our food and water supply were already being implemented. It appeared that after that, the plan seemed to take a very broad approach from the very beginning, widening its scope to include anything and everything anyone could think of, including giving support and infrastructure to local government, to taking over authorities and responsibilities of other government agencies. As a member representing a border state, my concern was that the borders be made secure, and presented the case for the ease of terrorists to enter our country and how that could be one of the most effective measures the government could provide to ensure the future safety of our country. Of course, everyone had an idea and a cause and a reason to expand the role of government. A couple of us even mentioned that there are those in government that add opportunity to solutions of a disaster that may not be as efficient use of our resources to protect our country, because they're looking at opportunity. As Rahm Emanuel said recently, there's no sense in letting a crisis go to waste. When Ridge mentioned establishing a national effort to prevent terrorist attacks and reduce our vulnerability to terrorism within the United States, I thought that was going to be an enormous task that would involve coordination with our intelligence, our military, every government group that can secure our borders from attack. But even with that ambitious goal, over time, it could be accomplished successfully. It was when they further embraced their already expanded, limitless phrasing to include minimizing the damage and recovering from attacks that do occur, you could see that this thing was getting too big, too expensive, and hard to control and account for its scope and performance. And then when they added FEMA with its responsibility for preparedness, response, and recovery to natural disasters, you could just see that it was being set up for failure with the built-in excuse that it's just too big to be effective. That's when you begin to understand that the main purpose of government is to grow and serve itself before considering the most efficient and effective means to serve its citizens. But whether incidentally or primarily, the Department of Homeland Security became a giant government bureaucracy that seems to be involved in almost every aspect of our lives while providing enormous contracts to those companies and individuals who happen to get in on the inside in the beginning. And with all the terrorists coming through the borders and boundaries of our countries, it seems like, once again, the government is more concerned with providing for the security and welfare of those inside its bureaucratic borders rather than protecting us from those coming from the outside. Why does it always seem like it's us against them? And stay alert, folks. I think the worst is yet to come. And thanks for listening to An Average Joe.